Hi, this is Jimmy. We are live on the Facebook page of 91.9 Friends FM, Calcutta, and it's truly amazing. You all must be wondering where I am right now. With the greenery and the structures at the back, I'm at the most amazing place in Calcutta, in fact, in Newtown, Rajarat, and this place is called the Eco Space. It's an amazing project, amazing ambience, amazing atmosphere. And of course, the gentleman behind all this is an amazing gentleman himself, Mr. Harsh Neotia, the chairman of the Ambuja Neotia Group. Sir, a warm welcome to you right here on the Facebook page of 91.9 Friends FM.
Hi, friends.
Sir, you've done so much for Calcutta and Bengal. You've been the pioneer, whether it be real estate, whether it be hospitality, or whether it be engaging with art across the city, across the state. Tell us a little bit about it, because more than just entrepreneurship or business, I think it's your passion which is making so many amazing things happen. So tell us a little bit about the story, sir. How did it start, or what made you kind of get into it in such a big way?
Well, the story is very simple. I set out to make a living, and because I have been born and brought up in Calcutta, and because my family has been interested in the arts, I think I inherited that. I inherited it from the milieu in which I grew up. I saw that happening all around me as a child. I was exposed to various intellectuals, artists, professionals at home because my folks were interested in art and music. So seamlessly, I think in some way, like it or not, it kind of it sort of influences you. And then when you set out to make a living, you said, okay, let's try and bring some of those ideas that we have learned as a kid into my work. And that's what I tried to do. Some things worked well, and so I'm happy that people have enjoyed it. And that's it.
This is amazingly amazing. But if you notice the real estate industry, normal buildings are coming up. You have brought about a unique style, with environmental greenery put in, with a lovely setup, beautiful looks, to create a differentiation among what one would say in real estate is totally different. Like, for example, eco space here, it is, I think, absolutely green, beautifully set up, a lot of space available, and this is not just one. There are a lot of projects like that. So would I put it this way, that you are very, very environmental conscious to ensure that whatever you build has to be green friendly, people friendly, and it's not just about the large amount of people coming in?
No. You know, it's very simple. I think we are all, as human beings, very strongly connected to nature. We all, as human beings, are intrinsically connected to life in general. And life is not just human life, animal life, plant life, every other life. I've grown up in a small bungalow where we had a patch of green. I used to fool around a lot in the garden, constantly doing some things here and there, planting this, planting that, making some landscape, etc. As a young child.
So you've been like architect in your own way, a kind of designer in your own way at your place from a young age.
Because my folks thought that instead of him messing around with the house, which would be more expensive, they allowed me to play with
That's
plants
nice.
and earth. So I had an interest in that. I developed an interest. My aunt was very, very involved with plants and trees, and she had a beautiful rose garden, and so there was that influence. But basically, it's not that. That's one part of it. But I think we as human beings
Right, sir.
empathize and relate with nature. So in whatever projects we have tried to do, we have tried to bring this connection. Uh, and it has been there because I think that's the only natural thing to do.
Absolutely.
It's not like something which is a strategy or any on any B school plan. Frankly speaking, it's really because I felt that we should just see that our projects connect with the earth, just because that would make people who live there or use the place happier.
People who live here use the place work nature. I'm just going to pan the camera just behind me and behind Mr. Neotia, and across the greenery, you can actually see this beautiful structure at one portion of it, which is the eco space. So its eco space here. There are so many beautiful residential projects which are coming at the EM bypass and are getting into the second phase of it and the third phase of it also. Uh, you've been a pioneer. I want to ask you one question. In the real estate, it's a continuous development which you are actually bringing about. What's next? Do we have some nice surprises? Because you are always coming up with something which is very different, differentiating, and very unique. It's got a class, come a comfy zone combined.
So we will continue to work towards. See, what we look at is what is the particular project all about, how does it serve the need of that particular customer, and try to see that we can integrate it with a nice design. And I suppose this would be a philosophy that would follow through in all our projects. Obviously, you interpret each project in a certain way. Every architect has a certain idiom. Every requirement has a certain set of needs and wants, etc. So it's really around that. It's not like we set out necessarily to do something different. We set out to do something nice, and we hope that they are nice. And in the process, if they are also unique, then that's an added bonus.
Right.
And that's how I look at it.
Tell me, emphasis on design and architecture and a very different styling. What is your thought process? Because you've been doing it awesomely, the entire group. So, design, architect, the very, very unique style you've been putting forward. Would you like to tell us something about that?
So as I told you, this is really a part of my childhood and a part of my upbringing, and I said I must owe it to my parents and the phenomenal people who came into my life when I was a youngster, and they included people from the art world, a lot of them from the art. They're not only just fine arts, musicians, architects, designers, what have you, including a lot of philosophers and literatures, uh, authors, etc. And I think, in a sense, Calcutta is a melting pot of these people.
Absolutely.
And I've really had the privilege of being closely involved with many of them as friends, and some of them have been also like gurus and mentors to me. And so their influences have come in some way. And when I work with my architects, I think some of those ideas that I've learned as a child creep into my discussions. And I'm sure that in some sense they influence the way the projects turn out to be. So this is really how things happen.
Brilliant. Now, sir, along with real estate, what I've seen is the hospitality angle which you've really built up. Whether it be the boutique hotels, whether it be the five stars, whether it be the resorts across the country, in fact, across Bengal. I would say, in fact, personally, I've experienced the Anaya Kutir and Ganga Kutir. I think it's amazing resort just at the Ganges, which is better than many of the international resorts. Then we look at various boutique hotels. Along with that, the amazing, unique cuisines, which are kind of brought about, very, very different from the usual, and topping it up with the India story and the various culture combinations which happen, because it is totally different from the real estate angle, but the hospitality, art, and culture combined together, which again is another area which you actually kicked forward solidly.
So on a lighter note, you can see that I put on sufficient weight, so I'm quite a foodie. Since childhood, one has enjoyed experimenting and enjoying good food, and hospitality is something that I somehow uh, quite enjoyed, and I quite like the whole aspect of Atithi Devo Bhava, trying to see that we can give a great experience to people who come. And since I was already involved with real estate, uh, hospitality was a logical consequence, I thought. And we developed a few projects, and a lot of passion and a lot of energy and a lot of time went into this. I'm happy that some of them have worked out very well. And also, similarly with food, my wife too has been keenly involved on the food side. She's been quite interested in that. She's been sort of helping us in that aspect. India Story is clearly her baby. I have
And I
really,
heard another story would be coming up shortly,
yes,
which is going to make about another huge difference on the story side, I would say.
yeah. So she does that. I keep out of it so that We keep our domestic problems at bay. So that she's best to answer that, but I think she's done an incredible job of that.
With all the incredible jobs being done from the real estate to the hospitality to the talent to the art. So I've been told you have amazing hobbies. You love music. You love a little philosophy into writing. You've created a lot of singers coming together to create music also. So tell us a little bit about that. And being such a busy man, how do you manage to stay hooked with so much of the stuff you also
So,
love doing?
this busy is many times overrated. I mean, it is true that our nature of work does take a lot of time, and there are often lots of time invested in sometimes needless issues. But you have to live your life, and in your life there will be dance, and there will be music, and there will be uh, other things other than the work that you do. But fortunately, and I must say this with God's grace, is that a lot of my work and a lot of my passion combine together, because design, etc., are very very intrinsically linked to both my passion and my work. So that was one wonderful opportunity. Food is again another thing which happens to be my business. It also happens to be my interest. Music comes through because in all our projects we have a lot of entertainment, and so there is an opportunity to showcase music that I have enjoyed. So many of those things converge, frankly. So that's not really a problem. Yes, on a very personal level, I enjoy reading. It's been a childhood interest of mine. Not exactly when I was a child, maybe when I was a teenager onwards. And Indian philosophy has attracted me greatly. I was inculcated into it by my great grandfather, who lived with us and who was himself a very saintly man. And he initially encouraged me to look at Indian scriptures and to go to some discourses which I did attend with him. And that sort of got me hooked on to exploring it further. And then I have continued to do that, which has been very, very helpful in understanding who we are, where we come from, what's the purpose of life. Not that I fully understood it, but I'm in that quest, and I think it's very interesting. I don't do it for any other reason than the fact that it energizes me. It allows me to know things that I don't know.
Amazing, so humble and down to earth with such amazing hobbies. I think that kind of introspection which comes in when you're actually enjoying what you do, I think it opens up a lot of thought process, which comes in, sir.
Yeah, so most fundamental is that if something you're not enjoying, there's something that is going wrong. And I believe that ups and downs in life is another aspect of life. It will always be there. Businesses will have their cycles, but there is no reason why you should be in despair just because some things don't work out the way you choose them to.
Absolutely.
So they will happen like that, and that's the way the Almighty has ordained. And it's I have not a chosen one who has problems. Everyone has problems, and but it's fine. You just navigate it.
Amazing. Sir, the world is watching you. Calcutta is watching you. India is watching you. You've actually built yourself up so beautifully as an individual, as a person, from various angles. I would love you to give a message to the world right now. Any thought you would like to share? Because we have lakhs and millions of people watching you at the moment. What would you like to tell them? Because that little word could encourage so many people out there to live their dreams also. The way you're shaping the future, the way you're shaping the real estate industry, the hospitality industry in the state of Bengal, in Calcutta. So, what would be your message to the world, sir?
So many times when I take an interview and I ask people as to why have you chosen this particular line, they say that this is where the future is, etc. So I say uh, you should choose a line where you have a natural disposition towards, because the future is so fast changing that whatever you think is seems to be a sort of sweet spot will disappear in a few years. And in fact, it's changing so fast now that by the time you finish your college, the sweet spot that you thought could have disappeared. So I think it's important that you look at those things from your own interest point of view, from your own uh, I would say, inclination, disposition, whatever it is, and try to build your career around that, because that will today or tomorrow always stand you in good stead. I was lucky that I got the opportunity to do work very much around my passions. Uh, Obviously, it's easier said than done. Everyone doesn't have that option. But if you work towards that, it is better than working towards something which is fashionably correct for the time
Absolutely.
being. It just may not work for you. I mean, there are people who are endowed artistically, there are the others who are endowed more commercially, there are others who have an engineering mind. I think we have to choose that and do that, and that's really what I would like to tell everyone.
It's been such an amazing conversation with you, sir. In fact, there's so much we have come to know from all angles, and wishing you and the family all the best. And of course, a big congratulations to you and the group for marching and taking things so forward in the beautiful city of Calcutta and Bengal. Looking forward to do more chats with you live right here on Facebook. It's time to sign off. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.